Teleconference as we review Week 10 and talk about Week 11 of the Big South Football Conference season. First, our usual announcements before we begin with our coaches. Our players of the week from this past weekend. The Choice Hotel's Offensive Player of the Week was Coastal Carolina quarterback Alex Ross. The Big South Defensive Player of the Week, Charleston Southern linebacker Aaron Brown. Special Teams Player of the Week, Coastal Carolina kicker Alex Catron. And the Cross Brand Freshman of the Week, Liberty punter Trey Turner. So congratulations to those individuals for their performances this past Saturday. Some other notes to pass along before we begin. Coastal Carolina is now the first team in Big South history to open 9-0 in back-to-back seasons. This weekend's TV games, the ESPN3 Game of the Week is Gardner-Webb at Charleston Southern at 11 a.m., while the American Sports Network will have coverage of Monmouth at Liberty at 3:30 p.m. Coastal Carolina has tied the Big South record for longest in-season win streak at 9, as well as the league record for most consecutive 30-point games, also at 9. Liberty's Jacob Hagan is now third all-time in Big South history with 12 career interceptions, and he is second all-time in career interception return yards. Gardner-Webb's Seth Cranfield set the Big South record for longest reception by a tight end over the weekend, a 75-yard score. 4 Big South quarterbacks continue to average more than 200 yards passing per game, which is pacing ahead of the league record. Liberty is 5-1 this season when quarterback Josh Woodrum scores a rushing TD and throws a passing touchdown in the same game. Presbyterian's 4 home wins are its best since 2011. Monmouth is 1 victory shy of recording its 3rd consecutive season at or above 500. And Charleston Southern is 1 win away from recording its 2nd consecutive season with 7 wins at least. They haven't done that since 2005-06. And now we'll talk to the coach who will play Charleston Southern this weekend, the head coach of the Gardner-Webb RUNNIN Bulldogs, Carroll McCray. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Mark. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir.
We'll open with you. If you can open up, talk about the game against Coastal Carolina. It was a 2-possession game until the 4th quarter.
Right.
And then we'll start taking questions.
Okay. Well, certainly we had our hands full up in Spangler Stadium with Coach Mobley and his bunch. They're as advertised. As I said last week, we knew they were a good football team, and those things don't happen by accident. I thought their quarterback, as he's Big South Player of the Week, he's a fine young man, and he played really, really well. Got a lot of weapons to get the ball to, and he's really dynamic on offense. So he proved to be difficult to stop most of the day. And, I thought our kids fought a little bit better against a higher-ranked team than maybe they did the week before. Shot ourselves in the foot. First play offensively, tip ball, they picked it off and ran it in and put us down 2 scores. As you said, we had Cranfield on a big play and came back and, fought around there to halftime and got a 2-score game and just kind of, punted around and played in mud the 3rd quarter. We couldn't get it to a 1-score game to ask them to even do anything. They were 2 ahead and, punting back and forth was okay, until they got their opportunity to break it open. So, we needed to put the pressure on them to have a chance against a number 2 ranked team in the country and could not do that. So, proved to be difficult to us, and then they got away from us in the 3rd, no, not 3rd, but 4th quarter. The kicker came in, as you said, he hit a 53-yarder and kicked another field goal, and they did some good things. We did have some guys play pretty well. We had a couple 4th down stops and had some guys make some adjustments and grew a little bit, I thought, and played a little bit more like we're going to need them to play to have any more success this year. So on we grow, but Coastal's a fine football team, and they certainly represent the Big South the right way, and it'll be interesting to watch them as they come down the home stretch. Headed down to Charleston for the 2nd time this season, and I thought Coach Chadwell and their bunch, they played a really fine game in very poor conditions up at Monmouth. it was cold down here, but the sun came out, and I think those cats played in pretty heavy rain and very cold and messy all day. I thought the Southern bunch did a real good job handling the weather conditions, and they played very well in all three phases of the game. Their run game was very, very effective. Their quarterback is doing a good job adjusting into what Coach Chadwell and those guys want him to do. And, I thought they did very well offensively. I think the big thing that stands out about those guys when you really study them, whether it's Vanderbilt or Big South play, I think their special teams are very good. They got two really fine kick returners, and they got a lot of guys that can run, with speed on their field. So, certainly that's a phase of the game that they're doing well in. Defensively, they got guys in the right spots and pretty heavy pressure team. Their defensive coaches do a good job with that. So, playing down there, I have not been there. Our guys have. And it'll be a great challenge for us. 11 o'clock ball game down there on ESPN3. I'm hoping our guys will come out and fight and give us an opportunity to match Charleston Southern's option and throwing game with our defense. And then, offensively, we got to continue to work to protect our passer and get things going so that we can move those chains and try to keep their offense off the field. I think special teams will be very, very big. And certainly holding on to the football and not having negative plays should prove big in the ball game. But big challenge for us. I think they're a really good football team. They showed some really resilience winning that game on the road last week after having a couple of weeks of difficulty, and looks like they're back on track. So looking forward to a good game, and we got to make sure our team's ready to go.
All right, thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll start taking questions for Gardner-Webb head coach Carroll McCray. To ask a question, please press *1 on your phone at any time, or click the Q&A link near the top of your browser and click raise hand if you joined us via the web. Questions for Gardner-Webb head coach Carroll McCray. Coach, while we're waiting for a question or two to come in, if you could talk about just from last week, the things that you were able to correct from the Liberty game and what really, the positives in that regard.
Well, I thought we handled some pressure a little bit better than we did in the Liberty game as far as our offensive unit. We kept the quarterback on his feet a little bit better for the most of the part. Had some failures there in a couple series where things got away from us and snowballed a little bit as far as our protection, but we're able to complete some passes and get the chains moving and execute there. And we had a young tailback come in. Kerry Bernard came in and gave us just a little bit of running up the middle and on the edges, which we need with Blunt being out. So I saw a young tailback come in and he scored a touchdown down there on the 5-yard line, so I was pleased with him coming in, holding on to the football and getting some carries there. And, I thought we had some players that played with a little more purpose about themselves this past week against Coastal than they did up on the road at Liberty. So gained some ground. When in our football family, we're trying to get some things done that we know we have to do to be competitive. And we hope that'll continue this week with some good practice on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then polish on Thursday.
And turning ahead to Charleston Southern, your second time facing them, obviously Coach Chadwell's second year as well. What have you noticed similarities and differences between the Bucks from last year's to this season?
Well, I think their quarterback, we played them later in the year up here last year, and certainly their new quarterback gives them a really powerful arm in the pass game for their play action as well as their drop back pass. I think they got some young running backs that have proven very effective. About their all-conference tailback in there. Christian Reeves. He's a fine football player. He was really tough to tackle last year. I think their quarterback really adds something to them because they can throw the football off their option attack. But they're good at playing angles and numbers. They really know how to run their system, and it'll be tough to make sure that we're lined up in the right way, and we got leverage on their offensive formations to have a chance to slow them down. So, big challenge for us. I think there's a lot of similarities to what Coach wants to do, and I think the quarterback gives them a little different dimension. I think defensively, they're as advertised. They're always in the right spot. They can bring a lot of pressure on you, and they challenge you to make sure you find them, especially in the second longs and the third down situations. Coach Staggs does a good job with their defense, and he's very, very, very aggressive when he needs to be. And I think their guys chase the football very well. So I think we got a big challenge. I think they're building on the things they do well, and it looks to me like they're correcting anything they do wrong. Their young men are correcting for them each and every week.
Coach, talk about a couple of your defensive players, especially their performances against Coastal. Aaron Cook, who's obviously taking a run of the linebacking corps with Tanner Birch and Chad Jeter being out. And then you started a freshman, LaRon Glenn, on the line. And he had 7 tackles and 1 for loss against Coastal. Just talk about those 2 guys for us.
Well, Aaron's done a great job all year. You know, losing our leadership in our linebacker corps has been tough. And we played Aaron last year as a freshman, and he's really stepped into a role of leadership. You know, he loves to play the game. He really is a guy that plays the game like we want all of our guys to play the game. He tries to make every tackle. He loves playing special teams, and been very, very pleased with him at the outside linebacker spot. We've had to ask him to play a little bit strong as well as weak linebacker, but he's taking on a challenge each and every week. We need him to continue to do that for us to have success defensively and bring some other guys along. So really pleased with him. We did start LaRon Glenn at defensive tackle. We decided to go with some youth there. He had played hard up at the Liberty game and earned that spot. And although he made mistakes, thought he continued to improve and show that down the road I think he's going to be a good player in our league. He's still got some strength issues and maturity to do, but he gives us a little bit of muscle in there, and we need him to continue down the stretch in these next 3 ball games to give us some quality reps with our defensive line as we continue to grow our defense. But pleased with both of them. Aaron's a lot further along, of course, and now a real leader for our team, and I hope LaRon will continue to grow and move into one of those roles of leadership even as a sophomore next year.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. That's all the questions that we have for you. So
Okay.
We'll let you go. Thanks for joining us. Good luck Saturday at Charleston Southern.
All right, Mark. Thanks a bunch. Good luck to all the Big South teams. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Gardner-Webb at CSU Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on ESPN 3.